on just with white paper and pencil.
Oh no! You forgot it at home. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, tell me what time it is in Russia right now.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.? Cool. It's so wild.
Hopefully, my wife is painting teacher at children art school, and I'm gonna have some help.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're also recording this, so you can watch the recording later as well.
Yeah,
you
sure.
can try it again once you have the paint.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Sean, Alex, Jenny, Sarab, Adil, you guys there?
Yeah, everyone. Yep.
Adil, we missed you on the last call.
Oh yeah, sorry. For some reason I thought it was at 9 a.m.
All right. I think now we've got everyone.
All right. Well, we're ready to rock and roll.
Cool.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Vargas. I'm the owner of Studio 928, and I'm your instructor for today. And we're painting this awesome parrot in a tropical setting with the ocean in the background. And as Valentine inquired earlier, this is going to be super easy, easy as pie, just like painting with Bob Ross. So no worries, no judgments. I want you guys to make this the relaxing thing that you do at the start of your day. Well, for Valentine and our Russian friends, it'll be at the end of your day, but for everybody else, the beginning. So yeah, so I hope you guys are all set and ready to party with us. Well, I'm here in the studio with my producer and assistant, Chelsea, in the background. So if you have any kind of technical issues or questions that you'd like to ask us, you can just go ahead and put them in the chat and she'll answer those for you. And then she's also responsible for trivia. So we're going to do some movies, some pop culture, some Star Wars stuff. So get your thinking caps on. And yeah, so without further ado, we're just going to go through your materials that you have in your box, and then we'll get started painting, okay? So, okay, so first of all, everyone should have this image. It'll be in your cellophane envelope. So if you haven't pulled that out yet, go ahead and whip that out. Valentine, you're just kind of listening to everything for the sake of listening because you don't have any of those things with you.
So
we get it, okay?
Valentine, I can send you the picture. I actually have the pictures that you sent me, Cheryl, so I'm going to send them to him so at least he has one on his screen. So I'll get that over to you in a second.
All right, there you go. All right, so you have the reference image, and then you'll have the traceable image. That's the see-through piece of paper, okay? And then there's a piece of black paper, and that's called carbon paper. It has a shiny side, and it has a dull side, okay? So you want to make sure that the shiny side is down on top of your canvas, which is the next piece that is in your box. I have a canvas board because I paint a lot, but you actually have a stretched canvas. So you'll put that down on your tabletop, and then you'll put the carbon paper shiny side down on top of that. And then you'll put the tracing paper on top of that. Okay, so we're going to come back to that. So just kind of leave that there. And of course, this reference image you should keep handy because we're going to be referring back to that while we're painting. And then you should have a tube. And inside that tube are your paint brushes that you'll be using for this painting. You'll have a round brush, and which is round like this. And it could be either of these sizes. Either is okay. And then you'll have a flat brush, okay, with a straight edge. And I'm going to go over that with you, how to use that. You also have a pencil or a pen to trace with, and paper towels to wipe up any paint or to dry off your brush. And then, of course, you'll want to have some water handy. I've got 2 containers because typically one will get really dirty while you're painting and you'll want to have a fresh one handy.
Cheryl.
And then last but not, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last but not least, please finish that.
You have your paints. So you'll have orange, which you really can or cannot use. I mean, you can mix a little orange into your red, and I'll talk to you about that a little later on. But you have blue, and you have yellow, and you have red, and then of course you'll have a set of palette trays. So this is where we're going to mix our colors as we start to paint. Okay.
So can I get 2 minutes? I didn't get water. I don't know if anyone else did or didn't, but I'm going to run to the kitchen and get some. Do you?
Sure. Go right ahead.
All right.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. And also make sure you have something to drink, because once you start painting, you get in the zone, and we don't want you getting dehydrated this early in the morning. And then I'm seeing Alex said, Aldi is a Star Wars expert. Please direct all Star Wars questions to Aldi. Okay. All right. So we do this really informally. If you hear a question you want to answer, just go ahead and blurt it out. You know, you can have your microphones on. I try not to monopolize the whole activity. You know, I like to hear back from you because I kind of feed off of your responses. And also, if you have any questions, you know, regarding how we're mixing colors or anything like that, please feel free to stop me and say, hey, I didn't get that, because I'm happy to stop and help you along. All right. So let's see, what else? Yeah, just have something to drink close. What was that?
Is it looks fine and close enough? The original?
Oh, did you draw it out, Aldi? I can't, or Valentine, I can't really see because you're very, very small on my screen.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to trust that you did a great job. Just going to trust in that. All right. So, and good for you for trying to freehand that. You should have fun with that. Okay. So let's see. Anything else? No, that ought to do it. Anyone have any questions before we dive right in? No? All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, the most important thing you need to remember is shiny side down. So shiny side. Okay, if you can see that shine, that goes down on top of your canvas. What we're going to do is align the carbon paper with the left edge of your tracing paper, like so. And then we're going to take that tracing paper and align it on top of the carbon paper. And we're just going to make sure that we always keep one hand in place while we're tracing, okay? Now, you're going to notice that on the right-hand side that there are going to be a few lines that the carbon paper isn't directly underneath. That's okay. We're just going to slide that over a little bit later, okay? So, but for now, we're all good on the left-hand side. So we're going to go ahead and grab that pen and then just, or pencil in your case, and just start tracing. So we can start at the top. And just kind of use light to medium pressure. You don't have to press down really hard. The carbon paper is pretty effective. Also, the cool thing about the carbon paper is that you can reuse this for, you know, little projects in your home. I like to use carbon paper. Gosh, I've used one piece, you know, 10 or 12 times. You just kind of keep rotating it and finding the side of the carbon paper that still has a lot of carbon on it. And yeah, so just keep kind of following that around. I'm not going in any particular order. And what you can do to make sure, like you may be a little confused as you're going along and you're like, where did I stop? Well, you can check that by keeping your hand in place and just kind of peeling back everything like so. And then you can see where you are. Additionally, another thing that people get paranoid about is that the paper might move. God forbid the paper moves. So if the paper moves, what you will want to do is just realign everything. So as you can see, I just kind of threw everything willy-nilly across the page here, across my desk. And I've taken my carbon paper and I'm just going to line everything up that I've already drawn like this. Okay. So once I line all that up, then I can just reinsert my carbon paper and pick up where I left off. And now, since I've already kind of done this edge here, I could, make my carbon paper so that when I'm ready for this side, that will be covered as well. So I'm just kind of angle this in since I've done that upper part. And I'm going to continue down. Okay. So just a nice medium pressure, not too hard. And the idea behind this painting, this parrot, is kind of interesting. I did it as a custom image for a church group. It was it was for Valentine's Day, actually. And they wanted to do kind of a couples painting. So what I did was, I was kind of thinking of what would be kind of a loving kind of image. And then I thought, well, we don't want to get too mushy about it. So how about just kind of like lovebirds? So these are not exactly lovebirds, but I just kind of created the parrots so that when you flip the paper over, they'll be, if two people are doing it, they'll be head to head kind of. So that was the idea behind the parrot that we're doing today. But also just because it's a beautiful tropical scene and it's wonderful colors. And really,
I was lucky enough to go to Maui for a few weeks in April. And yeah, as soon as I saw this parrot, I was like, I wish I was back there. So let's just paint it instead.
That's awesome. Maui is definitely on my bucket list. Did you enjoy it? Was it as expensive as everyone says it is?
I think you can do it in a way that's not too bad. I mean, it's easier to be on the on the West Coast to get over there, but you can find some deals. Depends on where you stay, and it's highly recommended. There's also a ton of stuff you can do that's free because it's all nature, outdoor stuff.
Nature. Yeah. Okay, you sound like you went on my kind of vacation because I like to be outdoors and walking, and I would love to see all the beauty that it's famous for as well.
It's everywhere, so it's wonderful.
Cool. So one of my favorite shows that you guys probably never heard of was Hawaii 5-0.
Well,
anybody ever hear of it?
Didn't they do like a remake of it? No, that was Magnum PI. I forget.
Yeah, so it was all set in Hawaii. It was kind of like, this good cop, bad cop type of show. And but what was wonderful about it was all the scenery.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the Magnum PI show. I liked the one from the 80s. So
yeah. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, these guys probably have no idea what we're talking about, so it's okay.
Right. You'll have to Google it. Just the intro. The intro will make you want to watch it. So if you Google Hawaii 5-0, you'll see the intro and you'll be like, oh yeah, I gotta watch at least one episode of that show. Book him Dano was one of the sayings that became famous from that show. All right, so I'm rounding my parrot's little, and this is the hardest part, you guys. So Valentine was wondering, how hard or easy this is going to be. And this is actually the most challenging part, just because you have to kind of, be meticulous about the line and that. but not exactly meticulous because we're going to cover up all of our crooked little lines with paint.
Yeah, but see, I'm
So-
regretting that extra cup of coffee because now I don't have
Oh!
like Whoops.
Yeah, and I actually missed my coffee this morning, so maybe
Oh,
that's a
no.
good thing
Maybe.
for me. But yeah, so today we're in LaGrange, Illinois, which is about 20 minutes outside of Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're at about 90 degrees, 93 degrees today.
Whoa.
So it's pretty warm here. And then yesterday we had tornadoes in our area about 20 minutes west of here.
Boy, that
Or
Midwest
more,
summer
like more
is-
like 40. What's that?
So the Midwest summers are no joke.
Right.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah, and Chelsea, who her in-laws are out that way, they actually had a photograph of a tornado touching down about, I don't know, it looked like about a mile or two away.
Oh no.
I would have been freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
I always think about you know, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Like, you got to get to the basement.
Right.
All right, so how are you guys doing? I'm all done with my tracing. I'm gonna give you guys a minute. And we won't put are you done? If you are, then I'll go ahead and we'll do a trivia question. Who's still working on their drawing? I think Aldi is
I'm
still working on
but
his.
You can go ahead and do that if you want. Do we
Okay.
have to yeah, here we go. Jurassic Park.
All right, there we go. So in Jurassic Park, how did they make the water ripple in the glass? Was it a noise cannon, a guitar string, a pager, or CGI? Do you remember Jurassic Park?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
I hope so. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I've watched it. The original one, you just can't beat it. I've watched it
No.
over and over again.
Yep.
Any
Huh.
guesses?
With the guitar
A
string.
noise
That's my guess.
guitar strings. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like they could put it underneath the cup or something, you know, because it was like a plastic cup.
I was gonna say pager.
Let's see.
Yeah.
See what
Sweet.
Chelsea.
Those were big back in the day.
Yeah, it was a guitar string. The string was attached to the bottom of the cup. Hey, I guessed correctly. And plucked to make the ripples. That's pretty cool.
Interesting. Hollywood
Hi,
magic.
Jenny. I'm just seeing you over there. I can only see a certain amount of people at a time. So hi. And we can't see Alex. Alex is incognito. Andre, I see him. Hi. And Oleg, hi. Those are my Russian connections. I've been bragging about you guys all week. That we're having our first Russian paint party. Yay. So
Yeah, that's great.
welcome.
Well, it's my first painting party in general.
There we go.
Yeah, we're
Lots of
really
firsts.
happy to have you guys here. So yeah, it was fun getting your packages there.
Oh my gosh.
That was interesting. It's
adventure.
like it's in customs. It's in customs
Yeah,
now.
right?
What's going on there? You know, and just watching the whole process. So glad you
Yeah.
guys got everything okay. All
I
right,
know, I
let's see
kept
another
track.
one. And then, and what was that, Emily?
Oh, I was just saying I kept tracking the package. I was like, every day, is it there yet? No. Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. Let's see what Chelsea's got for us next. Sometimes she surprises me with new stuff, so. All right, so I got everything ready here. Oh, palette knife. I forgot to mention your palette knife, which that's probably why I didn't mention it because I don't have one here.
Who
But I
knows this
do
answer?
have one.
Because
Oh.
I definitely do not know this answer.
I think Adil should know.
A deal. Oh, I was saying Aldi, it's a deal. Sorry about that. What is the original name of Boba Fett's ship? Is it the Razor Crest, the Falcon Slave, Slave One, or the Twilight?
No, Valentine. I have no idea.
Oh, that's a hard one, huh? I
Yeah.
think Chelsea, when I said one of the one of the things that we do with new customers is ask them to fill out a questionnaire. And Emily put down one of you guys' favorite things was Star Wars. So Chelsea always likes to challenge herself to see if she can stump you guys.
Yeah.
So sorry that we started out with one of the stumpers.
No,
of course, I have no.
Valentine probably knows.
So
Yeah, Valentine.
yeah, Boba Fett's ship was Slave One, and another mention of Star Wars ship is Razor Crest. It's from newest The Mandalorian.
Wow. I know, right?
What's the Twilight?
What's the Twilight? Chelsea wants to know.
Twilight, maybe from Rebel animation series, but not sure about that.
It's Anakin.
She says it's Anakin's.
I thought that
Yeah,
had
maybe.
to do with vampires.
It's all Greek to me. So yeah, so he's right. Slave One. Disney recently changed it to Boba Fett Starship in Lego builder sets. Okay. All right. Inquiring minds want to know. All right, so let's get to painting. All right, so one thing that I forgot to mention is a palette knife. So everybody should have one of these. Okay, and the first color that we are going to pick up is white. So just go ahead and pick up your, well, I'm going to pick up blue first because I have white in a tube today. But we're going to go ahead and take some blue. So take your palette knife and just put like one little scoop like this. Oops, over here. Okay. My camera's over here. Thank you, Chelsea. One little scoop of blue like that. And then when we put down the next color, we always put the color next to the color, not directly into the second color. Okay. So go ahead and take your palette knife out and scoop up some white. So I'm just going to squeeze some white out. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do.
Sorry, Cheryl, should we
I'll
clean
give
off
you
the knife in between since we have to scoop it
Yes,
out?
that would be a good idea. Yep.
Okay, just checking.
Absolutely. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and uncap your other colors so they're ready for you. It's because the next color we're probably going to use is yellow. All right, so we got blue, we got yellow, we got white. All right, so you got those colors. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm just kind of move it to the side like this. And I'm just going to add a little touch, like a little dot of blue, like half of that. I'm going to put half of it over here and half of it here. So can you see the ratio? So look at all that white and look how much blue I put. Okay. So we're going to mix those two colors together. So we're going to get a nice powdery blue. You don't have to mix it all the way because your paintbrush is going to do the rest of that. Then go ahead and rinse off your palette knife, wipe it off and set it to the side. Then the first brush we're going to pick up is our round brush is the next brush we're going to pick up. You can go ahead and move that tracing paper and carbon paper out of your way. So this is what we do with the round brush. We're going to wet it. And what you want to do with this particular brush so that you can get into the smaller spaces is just kind of roll it between your thumb and forefinger. Can you zoom in for us a little bit on that, Chelsea? Yeah, so just kind of roll that brush between your thumb and forefinger until you get a nice point on the end. It should look like that, right? So here's a little trick we're going to do. Now we're going to take just water and paint first. So go ahead and dip that brush again. And now you're just going to lay down some water on where the sky should be. Okay. And then when you get to the smaller areas in between the leaves, now it's lighter pressure, just really soft pressure. You don't want to change the shape of the brush, just barely touch it with the tip of your brush, okay? And then just kind of go around the parrot's head. And the reason why we're doing this, so you know, is so that when we put our color down, that the paint will flow towards those wet areas and stay away from the dry. Hopefully, if we play our cards right. And then here again, I'm just gonna really light stroke right in between this leaf. Okay, and then you can kind of lean to the side, take a side view like this, and then you'll be able to see where the water is and the water isn't. Okay, so we're just going to do this one little section. We do a section at a time. All right, so just kind of lean to the side and you'll be able to see what's wet. Right, so now that our canvas is wet, and also as you're painting along, we always want to make sure that you paint the sides of the canvas so when you hang your masterpiece, it looks completely finished. Right, so now I'm going to take a little water on the tip of my round brush, okay, and I'm going to add it to my powder blue mixture here. And we're going to incorporate that water into our paint till we get a consistency that's kind of like milk. Yeah, like milk. Okay. Now we're going to twirl that paintbrush until we get a lot of that paintbrush or out of the paint out. And then just kind of go right behind where you were and start laying down that color. Like so. It just makes it, we wet it, it makes it a little bit easier to transfer your color from your brush to the canvas. Okay. And then again, so the way we use this brush is for the bigger areas, sure, go ahead and put pressure so that you can get the paint out of the brush. But when you get to the smaller areas in between the leaves, you can't put that same amount of pressure. So make sure that you've loaded some additional paint onto your brush. And then you just use the tip of the brush and you don't put pressure. You barely touch the canvas to get right in between those leaves. Okay, you barely touch the canvas. And then you'll fit your brush in that smaller space. Okay. Now, maybe you look at your sky and you go, oh, I don't like that. It's too pale. It's too pale. I want some more color in my sky. I want a more Caribbean sky. Okay, so go to that little area of blue that you've already got on your palette. Add a little bit more blue to your palette or to your knife, to your brush. I'm sorry. And then just go ahead and add some more blue. It's up to you how blue you want your sky. Okay, so I made it a little bit darker, so you can have that kind of control if you like. So your painting doesn't have to be exactly like mine. If you've seen this kind of scene before, maybe there are some things that are not in it that you want to add. You know, maybe your sky is super deep, deep blue. Go ahead and make it that color if that's nice for you. Okay. So now, of course, we have these smaller areas in between the leaves. We want to go ahead and put some color there too. So just take a look at where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of going around and putting some blue into those spots. And here as well. Oops, and let me rinse my brush and just put some water down in those spots first so that my paint glides a little easier. So I'm just lightly touching with the tip of my brush into those smaller areas. And Chelsea's got another trivia question up there for us. And it is, What did many girls do to their hair in the 90s? Braid, crimp, shave their head, or straighten it?
Crimp.
That was Emily, I think. She said crimp.
Am I the only 90s child here?
I think
Guys, did you pay
they do
attention?
all of that.
What, Valentine?
I think they do all of that.
All of it?
Yeah.
You're probably right about that. In addition to lots of hairspray, huh? All right,
Yeah.
let's see what that answer is. Yes.
Yeah.
The crimp, famously worn by Hilary Duff and Tierra Carrera.
Tia Carrera, yeah.
Yeah.
She was big back in the 90s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, so I'm kind of doing the same thing I did up top. I'm kind of wetting down my canvas a little bit. We're not trying to get it soaking wet, just kind of a little damp so that when we put our paintbrush over it with the color, that it glides much easier for us. So, and again, if you want to check to make sure you've got it down there nice and wet, you can just kind of lean your head to the side and you'll see what's wet and what isn't. And again, if we look at a side camera angle, you can see the pressure I'm putting down to get into the smaller areas of my painting. So notice how I put down a lot of pressure here. But when I get to this area, I'm barely touching the canvas, just barely touching it. And that's how I fit into the smaller area with my larger brush. Okay, so just keep laying down that blue color. And if you're not sure where the blue goes, just take a look at your reference image. And that'll show you what areas get blue. And then as I get closer to where my actual water line is going to be, I think I'm going to add more blue. And that's totally up to you guys. What you doing over there, Chelsea? All right. All right, so now I'm just kind of dabbing in this color towards the horizon. And then when we get to the horizon, I'm going to go super dark with my blue because I want to show how the water is nice and blue. So, and don't worry about if you accidentally get some blue paint on the flowers or the branch because we're going to paint right over that. So no worries. Give yourself some permission to make some happy little accidents. And I'm so glad, Valentine, to learn that Bob Ross is big in Russia too. That's pretty amazing. I used to watch him when I was a kid. That's how actually what got me started as a painter is watching him. It's like, wow, that is so cool. I want to do that.
Yeah, and his videos looks really, really easy to do that by yourself.
Right. But one thing he was always big on is tools. So a lot of the things he accomplished because he had the right kinds of brushes. Brushes make all the difference because a lot of times people think, oh, I have to make a tree. Well, you don't. Your brush can make a tree, you know, or your brush can make a horizon line just with a flat brush, which speaking of horizon line, I'm about to do with our next brush that you have in your kit, and that is our flat brush. And which is why these are the two brushes that we send out with all of our kits, because you can paint just about anything with these two brushes because they're very versatile. Oh, I forgot my little area right here. It needs some blue. Don't forget the little areas next to the parrot's body also represent sky. So be sure you get in there, and then under his little belly. Yeah, we do a Bob Ross painting too, a Bob Ross style painting that I created. And we send out a fan brush to everyone. And I teach how to use the fan brush to create those happy little trees he's always talking about. So, okay, so our next brush is here. So don't worry if you're still working on your background, just stop for a second and see how to use this brush, okay? So this is our flat brush. We want to wet it on both sides, and you can break that brand new cast off the brush. And what you want to do is just use it like a chisel. It's like a straight line maker is what this brush is, okay? So when we load this brush, the objective is to keep it in a nice chiseled shape. And I'm going to go ahead and load some paint on here. I'm going to pick up some of that blue that I've already used to paint the sky. And then I'm going to just touch my brush onto the darker phthalo blue. Okay, and the cool thing about this brush is that's its job, is making straight lines. So all you need to do is to lay your brush against the horizon line that you've drawn, and then just drag it to the right, and it's going to make a straight line for you. That's what the flat brush does. Makes a straight line. And all you have to do is make sure you're on the other side of the pencil line you drew, or the carbon line, I'm sorry. Like so. And then you can flip the brush over and use the paint on the other side of the brush. Okay, and then if it starts to skip, that means you need to add a little bit of water, pick up some more of your sky color, and then tip the brush with the phthalo blue, the darker color, and then just resume your line building across the page. Straight across, just like that. Okay, and then now I'm just going to pick up some more blue, and don't forget to paint the sides of your canvas when you get to this point. And then you'll be all set. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make a line here where I think the tail should be. So if you did your tracing, oh, I just forgot my own line. That's what it was. Okay, you have it on there. Okay, so I'm gonna fill this in. And what we got over there, Chelsea? Okay, so what was the first soft drink enjoyed in space? Was it Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Sprite, or root beer?
I've got a guess. Does anyone else have a guess?
I think it was Pepsi.
I think it was root beer.
Pepsi. Root beer. Do you guys have, I'm not going to ask, that's a stupid question. I was going to say, do you have Pepsi in Russia? Of course you do. Of course you have Coca-Cola. Of course you have root beer.
Actually, I think we
All
don't have
right.
root beer in Russia.
You don't have root beer in Russia?
I think, yeah, we don't have.
Oh, okay. All right. So not such a crazy question.
Yeah, we'll send you some root beer.
Oh, that would be nice.
Okay. So what's the answer?
Oh, we were both wrong.
Coca-Cola.
Of course.
Carried on the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1985. All right.
Oh, it is the
All
number
right,
one.
so we got our background done. Yay, we got our background. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some green. So my favorite color is phthalo blue, of course, but phthalo blue and yellow make a beautiful green. So what we're going to do is grab that palette knife, pick up some more yellow, and put that on the tray next to our green, or sorry, next to our blue. Looks like I might have some phthalo blue in there already. And I'm wiping off my knife and just kind of setting it to the side. Okay, so now I'm just going to take, let's see, I guess I'll use we're going to use our flat brush for this. Okay, so wet it a little bit. And then we're just going to take a little drop of blue. So just like the corner edge of my brush. Okay, you can barely see it on the end. That's how much blue we're adding to this big pile of yellow. And we're just going to start rubbing it into that color, mixing it in. And there's our green. There's our green. So you can make that green as light or dark as you personally like. I'm going to go for like more of a philodendron green. So I'm going to add a little bit more blue to it to make it a little deeper and darker. And that's totally up to you how deep you want to make your green. So have fun with that, mixing your own color. And then this time we've got enough liquid in our mix here so that we don't need to add any water down to our canvas. We have a larger area to work with as well. So just go ahead and use that flat brush to help you with the straight lines, and make sure you use the whole brush. Don't brush with just the tip. Use the whole brush to lay down the color. Okay, now another thing you can do is go ahead and just pick up some pure yellow on its own and just add it in to the green. Okay. So I'm taking that flat edge of my brush and putting it against the straight line of the leaf and then just pulling in the opposite direction. Because this is the straight line maker, this brush. So you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to make a straight line. It just makes it for you. Okay. So I'm going to go all the way to the other end. How are you guys doing over there? I need to check in with you, make sure you're doing okay. Oh, I forgot the rest of my bird's leg. Are you doing okay? Are you with me? Yes, I see nods. That's
Everybody's
good.
focused.
That's what happens. That's why I'm like, have food, have water, because otherwise you get in the zone and you might get stuck there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick up some yellow and then just start brushing it in on the other side, because I want to make my leaf a little two-tone. So when you're trying to do this, just use a lighter stroke. And actually, I'm going to rinse because my yellow and green are merging together so tightly that I can't see the difference. So I'm going to, well, I guess I can't now. I just have to continue with my green. And then just follow along. And again, your brush is going to help you make those straight lines where you need them. All right. Oh, I forgot you guys can see me now. We had a software upgrade that allows for that little picture in a picture thing that you're seeing on the screen. All right, and it looks like I'm gonna add some white on top here. That's what I need. So for the center area of this flower, or I'm sorry, of this leaf, I'm just gonna add, I picked up a little white. You should have some white on your palette, right? So just pick up a little white on the tip of your brush and just kind of go down the center of the leaf like so. Okay, and that'll brighten that up a little bit. We need to brighten this up a little bit. And then just move your brush in the direction that you think the leaf grows. So kind of like this. And then just kind of do the same thing on the other side. And then that's how you get that kind of a two-tone look to your leaf. So kind of lighter and brighter in the center. And then we'll just redraw that line. Okay, so we got a leaf done. Okay, so what is the substance? She's picking these really hard questions. What is the substance that powers the lightsaber? Is it Ilum crystals, pixie dust, the force, or the core of a star? What is the substance that powers the lightsaber? Now, I got to ask Chelsea this question. Did you know the answer to this before you researched it? Oh, you did? Oh my God. She is definitely a Star Wars geek over here. Any guesses? Come on, somebody's got to have a guess. Oh, I think Valentine is holding back over there. He wants to give other people a chance to guess.
Yeah,
So
any
a
guesses,
deal,
guys?
It's a kyber crystal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only Ilum crystals, but cyber crystals, crystals from maybe other planets, but mainly from Ilum.
Okay.
Guys, I think
And
you're
the
all
force.
wrong. It's pixie dust. Of course, it's pixie dust. Everybody knows that.
That's so polite that he just waited to see if anybody else would guess. He's like, I know that. It's like, I know where to go to get some. All right. Let's see what the answer. Yeah, Ilum crystals found on the palette Ilum. Is it Ilum or Ilum or Ilum? All right. Good job. All right. So I'm laying down. I'm gone over to my other leaf. And I'm laying down the same green color. I hope you guys are happy with your green that you mixed. You had success with that. Just nod if you did. Nodding. Good, 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 good. I know one thing that is super challenging for people is mixing colors. And I know that because when I was in art school, I was so excited my first painting class. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I was so disappointed to find out after I used up all my paint, because our instructor was like, okay, you get this set of paints, and when you use this up, that's all you get. That's it. That's all she told us. And she was like, okay, now you have a color chart on your table, and I want you to mix these colors, match them to the color chart in front of you. She didn't say anything about ratios or color, nothing. So, I mean, literally half the kids in class went through their whole set of paints like in the first week, because we threw away so much paint. So what I learned from YouTube is that when you're mixing colors, you have to always think of ratios. Okay, so the powerful color. So if you're mixing green, it's never an equal part of yellow and an equal part of blue. It's always going to be the base color, which is yellow, the weaker color, if you will, and then the more powerful color, which in this case is blue, a really small amount until you get the blue that you seek. Okay, it's like almost like you learn different formulas for different shades. Why, when you go to get colors for your house, when you're painting, your interior, whatever, there's like a little formula on the outside of the can, which shows the ratios of, red, blue, yellow, magenta, etc. That go into creating a color. So anyway, yeah, I paid all this money for this art class and then wound up learning what I really need to know on YouTube University. So anyway, so here I'm going back to my white because I want to show some contrast so we don't just have a flat looking leaf. So I'm just gonna mix in a tiny bit of white into my green and directly on the leaf. So just a small amount in your paintbrush. Don't load it up with too much white.
I'm gonna do a really quick time check. I know we have 8 minutes left. Does anyone have a 10 o'clock that they have to drop for, or can we get a few extra minutes if we go long? Hopefully we can stay on for a few more minutes to finish up, but just checking in on that.
Oh, Emily, you guys can only stay for an hour?
Oh, I thought it was an hour.
No,
Uh-oh.
it's 2 hours.
2 hours? Oh, no. Really?
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
So raise your hand if you have to leave. I don't see any hands raised.
Yeah.
I can't find the button.
Do you have to leave, Emily?
No, I'm good. So I think we'll be good.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if we can go the full 2 hours, but that's totally fine. I think we're gonna get there either way.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'll just, keep that in mind and I'll move a little more accelerated. And then, like I said, if someone is not able to keep up, then you'll always have the recording that I will send to you and you can share with people. Okay. So with that in mind and our leaves all done, I'm going to go ahead and dive in on our parrot. So the first color, let's just lay down some red. Okay, we're going to lay down. We've already got some yellow on our palette. If you want to add a little bit more, you can. But I just laid down some red. But I think the first color I'm going to lay down is my yellow. Okay, so I'm wiping off my palette knife. I'm going to pick up a little bit more yellow and put it on my tray. And we'll go ahead and whip out another trivia question, get some more in before we're done. So I'm going to start in on my parrot's little belly and all of the areas on his little body that are yellow. Okay. So I'm going to just use my round brush and I'm going in underneath his little parrot goatee there.
What? I mean, these questions, they use nuts to make dynamite?
It's not your everyday. So something a little new and challenging. What was that?
Is that question legal?
Is it legal? Not in Russia, huh?
I'm going to ask about other parts of you creating dynamite. It's pretty funny, huh? So yeah, they use nuts probably back in the old days. I don't know if they still do it anymore, but probably when they first started making dynamite, yeah, they used one of these nuts: almonds, cashews, peanuts, and walnuts. Let's lay down those guesses. Take a quick guess.
I guess that it's possibly almonds. But I'm not sure.
But you're not sure.
Infantry thinks it's
So
almost.
which one, from what you know, which one is the most versatile nut? What do we have a million things made from of those nuts?
Peanut?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say it used to be peanuts, but I think almonds coming in on a lot more things now.
Oh, like with the milk and different
Flour
things like
and all
that.
kind of stuff, yeah.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. But I mean, like were like industrial uses for peanuts as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what that answer is.
There
Yeah,
you go.
peanuts. Yep, definitely peanuts. George Washington Carver found like 101 different uses for a peanut.
Wow.
All right, so now I've got my yellow all laid down. So while my yellow is wet, especially in this area right here, underneath my my sideburns, my bird's sideburns here, I'm gonna put down another little layer of yellow so that it's wet. And then I'm gonna pick up some red on the tip of my brush and I'm gonna blend these two colors kind of together. And wipe off the excess from the tip of my brush and just kind of, you know, we want to blend this together so it looks almost like kind of natural. Birds have so many colors and then you can't see where one stops and where the other one begins. So we're going to try to mimic that effect. And here you just do it with the very end of your brush. Really super light strokes. And then we're just going to go full on red all around his head. Get that red down there. Okay. And then just kind of go around here and I'm going to show you a little trick so that when we paint the head and then we paint the wing that they don't kind of blend together. Okay. So there should be a little shadow between the head and the wing. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So I'm going around to the top of the head now. And again, so our brush of choice here is going to be that round brush because we're just barely touching the tip to the canvas so that we can get into the smaller areas. And also, if your paint is not flowing easily from the tip of your brush, you want to make sure that you've incorporated enough water into your brush to make sure that the flow of your paint is, again, like the consistency of milk, and that you don't have to press hard to get the paint from your brush to the canvas. So incorporate enough water and then roll it back to a point using your thumb and forefinger. So then you should have a nice point. And then that's what you use to get into those small areas. Super light pressure, barely touching the canvas. And then just continuing around the eye area. Okay. Now for the shadow, I'm going to clean my brush. So if you're not at this point yet, that's okay. Just take a look at what I'm going to do so you'll know when you get to this point. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of blue on the tip of my brush. So very tiny amount, as you can see. You can barely see it on the tip. Now I'm going to add that to my red so that it's going to give me like a burgundy, like a Cabernet color. See that? How it's a little bit darker? It's a very small amount. Now I'm going to take this Cabernet color and go around the area where the wing and the head meet. Okay, because in reality, there's a little bit of shadow there. Because he's probably shrugging his shoulders, so he gets a little shadow from his wing on his neck. Okay.
Cheryl, looks like something with the sound. I see you talking, but I didn't hear you. No, no.
Good call. I thought she was just focusing.
Sorry, my microphone power went off for a second. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. We got fancy new equipment over here, so every now and then it just takes a minute to get used to it. All right, so I am picking up just some pure red now, and we're going down the wing area. And putting this beautiful red color in. Okay, so that's good that they can see when my mouth is moving that something must be coming out. So, all right, so no guesses on what's the lightest planet? They didn't hear the question. What is the lightest planet? Is it Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, or Earth? Any guesses? Come on, just take a guess.
I think it should be
Oh, is it?
Mars because it's closest one.
I thought,
Ah,
is there one that is like made up mostly of gas or something? Wouldn't that be later? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Making sense.
And Chelsea, so is this, when you say lightest, are you talking about weight?
Yeah.
Oh. Or light, you know? So, I have no idea either. Saturn is big, Jupiter is big. Earth is the smallest one, isn't it? Mars is the smallest one? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with Mars too. All right, let's see what the answer is. Saturn. It's so light it would float on water. Wow. That's pretty wild. Huh. So light it would float on water. That's fascinating. There's a couple of good specials on if you're into planetary kind of things. The one on UFOs is pretty interesting. And then there's another one that talks about the immensity of the universe. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it talked about, the size of the planets and how habitable or uninhabitable they are. One of my really good friends from long time, her husband is the president of or executive director of the Center for UFO Studies. I was like, wow, that's so cool. It's so cool to be involved in that. He studied with some of the people who were there for the Roswell incident, if you're familiar with that. Oops, did I paint I painted my thing the wrong color. That's okay. That's fine. I changed my parrot's color a little bit. And then we're going to do some things to make if you look at your reference image, there are actually some strokes in there that are going to help the wings look a little more.
Cheryl, we lost you again.
Yeah.
I think I'm just hitting this button the wrong way. Oh, it's blinking. So maybe put some new batteries. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it was trying to warn us that the batteries are low and I just ignored it.
Cheryl, are you talking to us? We can't hear you. Okay, you're 1 second. Okay, you're still working on it.
Okay, we're back. We have batteries, we have power.
Great.
Right. So here's what we're going to do now. Of course, I've gone ahead and painted my bottom of my wing here the wrong color. I'm going to let it dry and then I'll paint over it the color it should be. But in the meantime, here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab that flat brush, and the flat brush is going to help us make some wing marks. Okay, so we're going to load up. Make sure your brush is a little wet. We're going to load up both sides of our brush with red. Okay, and this is all we're going to do. So if you want to just rest your heel of your hand on the table surface, and then we're just going to make some strokes like this. So straight strokes, really light. Here, I'm going to take some water out of my brush. I have too much water. So make sure you don't have too much water in your brush and not too much paint. Your brush should look like a chisel, okay? Should be just a little bit of paint on both sides, like this, okay? And then we're just gonna take this brush, and I'm kind of holding it at a, I don't know, 35, 40 degree angle, and I'm just making little short little stroke motions angled towards the point of the wing, okay? So just like this. Okay, and then we can do another layer when that dries. Okay, so we have a lot of white in his face. And the next color we're actually going to pick up, so we're going to leave those white areas blank. But now we're going to pick up just a tiny bit of black, which I forgot to mention in the color palette. But yeah, just put a little bit of that on your palette tray. Rinse off your palette knife, put it to the side. And then it's probably a good idea to use your round brush for this particular color, because it's going to help you fit into those smaller spaces. Make sure that you add enough water so that your paint's the consistency of a nice thick milk, and that you retain the point on the tip of your brush. Roll it between your thumb and the forefinger so you get that nice tip back. Then you're ready to dive in and just add some of that black paint to his beak area. And again, super light strokes. If your paint is looking a little thin, like mine is right there, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some more pigment, meaning some more black, and work it into my brush, because it just means that I haven't mixed my water and paint together well enough. You shouldn't be able to see through your black when you lay it down on the canvas. Okay, and then just touch it with the very tip of your brush to get into those tiny areas. Okay, so use your reference image so that you can follow along with where your beak should begin and end. And if you find it a challenge to get into the small spaces, just kind of tap with the tip of your brush. Just use the last 2 hairs on the tip of that brush. Just tap, tap, tap until you work your paint into that area. Just tap, 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 really light. Okay, let's do another trivia question. Oh, they're still with us. They're very focused, but when they want to answer the trivia question. What country has the most natural lakes? Is it Russia, China, Canada, or the US? Which country has the most natural lakes?
Canada.
Good guess. That's what I would think too.
Russia.
Agree.
Of course. Of course. Okay, so now I'm using just the very tip of the brush to get into this tiny little sideburn-like area of his. And why do I think this is a boy bird? I don't know. I always heard that the boy bird was the colorful one of the species. But in parrots, I think it's both. Okay, Chelsea, what's the answer? Canada. Good, Emily. Canada, with 563 lakes larger than 100 square kilometers. Very good. All right, and here for that eye, same things. Just those last 2 hairs on the tip of your brush. Super light strokes. Okay, just tap. Don't try to paint, just tap in the color. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, and you'll make that okay. All right.
I have to drop for another meeting.
All right, thanks, Alex.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes,
Have a great day.
thank you.
It was
Send
really
us a
good.
picture of
You
your final
too.
product.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's see. Oh, and that's whoever can stay, we'll do a group photo of everyone. So Emily can share with the team. Okay,
There you
so
go.
okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have no idea. why I
Did
thought
you
it was
do
only a phone.
Spider-Man?
I did.
Oh, wait, I can't see it because of your artificial background, but I caught
Oh.
the eyes.
Wow.
He said, I'm going with my own drummer here. I'm doing my own creative thing. Very awesome. Love it.
I knew I couldn't keep up with what Valentine was sketching, so I just did my own thing.
Well, you got to paint, and that's good for you. So
Thanks.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, bye, everybody.
All right. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the black on the tip of my brush to pick up a little, to just dip into my white, because I'm going to go for the branch now, and I'll come back to painting over where my blue should be. But you guys know the technique for making the brush, the feather kind of effect. So if you've already painted yours the correct color blue, you can go ahead and fan that color out. But I just took a little bit of black and put it into my white, and I got gray. And that's what we're putting on the branch for the foundational color, but then we'll go back again and add in the shadow which is a darker gray. Okay. So, and I'm using the very tip of my brush to get into these smaller areas at the end of the branch. And also underneath our pal here as well. Are you good now? Oh, okay. All right, Chelsea was changing out the batteries in the receiver, so she didn't want me to be moving my lips and you guys would think you couldn't hear me. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm going back to my blue and I'm just going to make some upward strokes. So I look a little feathery and I'm using the, what do you call it? The round brush to do this. And I'm just going up. I'm going in the opposite direction that I went before to make the feather strokes. And I also forgot to mention that the nature of acrylic paint is that you can always put an extra coat of paint, okay? So if you find yourself being able to see through the lines that you drew with the carbon paper, or if the color isn't as brilliant as you would like it to be, that just means that you could put another coat of paint at your leisure. And also, if you are having any doubts about how well you're doing, I always suggest at this point that you stop for a moment and take a photograph of your work, because that gives you a different perspective. It's like looking at your work in the mirror or just having a different set of eyes on your work, which I like to call the less critical set of eyes. And it always looks better. Always. Okay, so we got some little lines, some little feathery lines going on there. And now, oh, and then we have a little red along his chops. I guess you would call those cheeks. His little cheeks. Let's see another trivia question. Let's see what else you got over there, Chelsea. I'm gonna mix a little orange in there. Actually, I mixed some yellow and a tiny bit of red, same thing. So if you're gonna mix orange, you wanna have a lot more yellow than red. Okay, just like a little dot of red to get yellow or orange. Okay. And now I'm going to add a little more black to my white so I can create my shadow color. It's going to be a little bit darker than the gray that's already on our palette or already on the canvas. A little bit more black.
Cheryl, I'm not able to get
There we go.
the feathering like you're doing. Can you show that one more time after you finish this part that you're doing?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what is the highest grossing film of all time, inflation included? Is it Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, or Titanic? So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to show you. Here, let me show Emily so she can continue on her path here. So I'm going to pick up some red. And when you load your brush, you want to make sure that there's not a lot of paint. because otherwise you'll get all paint and no stroke. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's just covering both sides of your brush. And then you just hold it like an angle like this, directly perpendicular, I guess, to your canvas. Chelsea's like, that sounds right. And then we're just kind of brushing down, real light stroke. So you're making like a straight line with the tip of your brush. Okay, so if I had to demonstrate this on plain white paper, it would look like this. Oops, I don't have enough paint now. Hold on. Would look like this. Okay, those are strokes you're making.
Thank you.
Okay, and you can even, take a couple of practice strokes before you hit your canvas.
Answering Chelsea's questions, I think it's Titanic.
Okay. All right, we got a guess there. Titanic.
I know at one point it was Avatar, but I don't know if that's still the case.
Well, let's see. Let's see what the answer is. And the answer is, it is Avatar, taking the lead back from Avengers Endgame after its China release. So after what was released in China, it beat out Avengers Endgame. Okay, so I guess I could do this the opposite way. So the sunlight is hitting the top of the branch. So what I've done is I've picked up a lighter gray with more white, and I'm just kind of going along the top of the branch. So, because the sun is hitting it, so it's lighter than the gray that we've previously put down. Okay, so all along the top, we're just putting this lighter gray to give the appearance that, the sun is hitting it. Except for right under the bird, because his wings would be creating a shadow. Okay. So, and then last but not least, because I'm trying not to keep you guys, you notice how I picked up the pace? I didn't realize I was keeping people from getting back to work.
No, we don't have anything important going on today. It's totally fine. No, that's my fault. I don't know how I totally missed that was the timing. So that's my fault.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Okay.
It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself.
I'm the only one to blame.
Yeah, it's all good. I think I'm going to make orange flowers. So up to you guys. You can pick whatever color you want. We could do orange, and as I said before, in the image, they're kind of red looking, but to make orange, we're taking predominantly yellow, big chunk of yellow, and just one little tiny dot, tiny dot of red, because it's super powerful. Okay. And that's going to give you a little orange. See, that's a nice orange. Very nice. And then I'm just going to dot. I'm just going to use the tip of my brush to just kind of dot that paint. I'm not trying to paint the leaves. I'm just dotting with my paintbrush. I'm just turning it and dotting that color down. Just pressing with the tip of my brush. And then I can put another coat on later too if I want. Sometimes it's nice to have some texture, a little heavier paint on your canvas. And last but not least, I think I'm going to go in and pick up some black and paint his little claws with a little dark gray. Again, using my round brush. And then we got another Chelsea trivia. What is the name of Yoda's home? Is it what? What are these words you got me pronouncing here? Tattoo. Look at the screen, you guys, because I'm not even going to try to pronounce these words because they're made up. So no fair. The last one is Naboo, I think, and then Dagobah, Kashyyyk. That looks like it would be Yoda's house because that's the hardest one to say. And then Tatooine. Yeah, okay. So
Adil, what's your
Star
guess?
Wars Geeks Unite.
My choice is number
What-
2.
Number 2. That's a good way to pronounce it. Number 2. All right. Number 2 it is. Okay, what about you, Valentine?
He died on the Dagobah, but doesn't. No one knows where he born.
Huh? No one knows where he was born?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Chelsea, tell us the mystery. The answer is Dagobah. All right. So I guess he lived and died there, huh? Or he was born and he died there.
Spoilers. Jeez, now I know. Now I don't have to watch it.
And yeah, I'm so out of the Star Wars loop. I am watching Gotham though on Netflix. Got a lot of Batman fans in my family, so. So for the bottom part, Emily, I just reversed the stroke up into the blue. I just, instead of going down, I went up.
Okay, tried that a little too.
Okay.
Talking about Batman and the DC, what do you prefer more, Marvel or DC?
Oh.
What do you-
Marvel
Whoever Batman's with. DC?
Yeah.
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 I guess I like Batman better. How about you?
Yeah, more about DC, and a little bit sad about there's movie universe, how that happens to Batman, Superman, and all that stuff around about Snyder.
Yeah, you guys are deep into it. I don't know any rumors about any Batman stuff going on. I know there's a lot. I know they lost a big icon recently, Stan Lee. That's Marvel? Okay, thank you. So look, you guys, yeah, you're all done. I'm going back with some darker green. So see what I did? I went back and I mixed a darker green with my, my colors. Add a little bit of blue to your yellow until you get the color you want. Now I'm using that flat brush again, that tool. So we're doing some Bob Ross kind of technique here. And I'm just stroking up. So instead of using just the tip, like we did to use the wings, to do the wings, I'm using the entire brush. And then I just kind of flick it up. And that's how we get that blurred effect at the end towards the center of the leaf. And so it gives it, just an extra level of contrast. So your painting doesn't look so flat. And that's the kind of fun you can have with your remaining paint that you have to kind of, put your own personal twist on this tropical scene. Okay. So it doesn't have to be flat. Yes, we're done. You guys have seen the whole process. But if you want to make it special, go back and add some dimension by adding a darker color to your leaves or your wings or anywhere else on the painting you see fit. Do you have another trivia question for us? How you guys doing over there? So I'm all ready to take a picture with you when you're ready. Of course, I don't get to be in the picture, but you guys do. And I send them all to Emily, and then Emily can share them with you later. But yeah, so whether you're all the way done or not, and you want to stop for a second, we can, take a photo op together.
It'll be through the screen, so you can't tell if it's good or bad, which is great. You guys ready to take a picture?
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah, hold on, let me just, okay. So what I normally do, what I used to do was just take a, photograph of the screen, but that doesn't give you a very good photograph because you have all the studio lights. So what I'm going to do is do screenshots. So everybody who can go ahead. I'm bringing my my laptop down and okay. All right. So, let's go ahead and answer this trivia question. What is the best-selling video game of all time? Is it Tetris, Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto, or Wii Sports?
Gotta be GTA.
And in the GTA.
Yeah, also it's about GTA.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Look at those. That looks great. Oh, look, Valentine, you drew that out. Good for you. Good for
Andre
you.
was able to make it work. Nice. Andre
Yeah, that looks really good. So yeah, so what I'm doing right now is just doing the screenshot of everybody. And then what I want to do is, I guess I'll do like a 1, 2, 3 cheeseburger kind of thing. So you guys give me your best faces for the photo. I see you, Sean. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more, because I don't think Adil was ready. Hold on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. All right, looks good. You guys did a great job. Are you proud of yourselves? You should be. I mean,
yeah.
I think a lot of people don't paint because they don't do art because they're automatically thinking, oh, I'm gonna suck. I can't draw a straight line. I can't make a stick man. I can't do any of these things. But in actuality, if you just give your creative self a moment out of your busy life, man, you'll be surprised at what you'll find. So good job. Good job. I'm very impressed. Y'all make me look good when you do a good job like that. So Emily, I'm going to leave it up to you as to what we do next. We're happy to hang in here with you until, the end of the hour. But of course, if everybody's finished, there's no point in that. But we're not in a big hurry. We're, here for you.
Yeah,
so people need to get off.
Unfortunately, I do need to get cleaned up for another meeting that I have to do. So I have to jump. But you guys, if you want to stay, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I think everyone got theirs pretty much done, and we can just play on our own to tidy it up a little bit. So thank you so much. That was really, really cool. It was so helpful to go through it step by step because I would have just started throwing paint at it and it would have just gone crazy. This was like,
Yeah, no problem at all. It's what we do, man. We love it. So I'm glad you guys had a good time. That means that our mission was accomplished. So I'm so happy and so proud to be hosting you guys, Red Bull, Russia, my West Coast people. I'm just glad that everything worked out all right. So you guys have a great rest of your week, a great rest of your day. And yeah, follow us on Facebook if you can. Come say hi on Instagram, tag your paintings, and we'll give you some love, okay? So take care.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Cheryl.
you. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bill, forgot to answer the trivia